Oh, hi there. It's Thursday, and as you can see, I've got some Tsumeshogi up. I had intended today to play some more on Shogi Wars, just to continue the 10 minutes. But I haven't been feeling that great, so I'm just going to slow it down. And yesterday, actually, on stream, I was saying that I felt foggy and like I wasn't seeing the board so well. And sure enough, sort of after the stream, I was feeling it much more. Just kind of like exhaustion, that kind of like tired exhaustion. Not flu-like-ish, but I don't want to even make it sound like it was a flu because it was because I'm mostly okay. I'm mostly okay. Just kind of feeling out of it a bit. So hey, NinWorld, nice to see you. So I'm just gonna do some Tsume today. I won't do the Shogi Wars like I had planned. I'm gonna stick with this. I just fogged up my glasses. These puzzles have been very difficult for me. The Shogi puzzles were fun, but they weren't. They were fun, and they did take me some time. I spent some time on them, but these seem to be harder. Even though I know they're mate in fives, and even though there aren't as many pieces on the board, the way these are constructed, I think, have made it a little more difficult. But let's see. So this puzzle, so we can cheat in a Tsumeshogi problem. There are 3 pieces in hand, which means every move is going to be a drop. It's a mate in 5, which is 3 moves for us, and according to the rules set down by the Tsumeshogi Consortium, you have to use every piece in hand. So that means I don't even have to look at the other stuff, the pieces. So how can we check? I laughed and I think I got some tea on myself. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I'll use this as 7, 8. So we have 8 possibilities here. 8 possibilities. Nothing is... I immediately jumped to showing the moves because nothing popped out at me as thinking that this is it. Let's look at the knight one first. The knight move first. So we drop the knight. The gold takes... The gold takes, and I think that's it. I think that's it. If we drop the knight, gold takes. I drop the gold here, king takes, and now I just have a rook, and I can't really mate with that. So knight drop, gold takes. Yeah. So my guess is we need to pull the king here so that we can get the knight move. That's my guess. My guess is that we want to pull the king over here so that we can get the knight, the classic pattern. So that's the pattern I'm seeing here. And let's try to make that pattern work. Rook. King has to take. Silver can't take because of the pin. Knight drop. So the bad thing about this knight drop... So let's see. This one seems like it might be a little sophisticated. King takes. If we drop the knight, the king can run. And now we have no way to check. Now we have no way to checkmate. Hey, Tortupi, good to see you. So, let's do this again. Takes, and now we do it from this side. If that's the case, silver can take now, because it's not a check. Because this is no longer pinned. It's no longer pinned. And there's no way to follow up then. So that's not it. That is not it. So how about we drop the gold first? Well, if we drop the gold first, we drop the gold first. The gold can take. No, I mean the gold can't take there. Sorry. I'm thinking 2 moves down the line. So we drop the gold. King can't run because we would drop the rook on 2-1 for mate. So the king takes. And we're sort of in this. We're sort of in the same boat now, but it's the same problem. Even if the rook, even if the gold takes, though, it's not going to work because this is not a mate on. Oh yes, it is. No. Takes. That's not a mate in 5. So that's not it. That's not it. What is this application? This is playshogi.com. Here is the link. It looks sort of like an app. I've done my best to frame the web page in a way that it looks the best. I'm trying to give it its best possible look. Like if you go to the site, you'll see a lot of white and a lot of menus and stuff like that. I've tried to hide all that to make it look as nice as possible. So that's you might have been here before, you just don't recognize it. It looks like it logged me out, by the way. I'm logged out, but it doesn't matter. So that is not it. I think this theme, though, is still right. I think this theme may still be right. Okay, you haven't done any puzzles here? They've got some good puzzle collections. Everything around it is not as nice as some of the other sites, but the collections themselves are good. All right, well, I didn't want to do this one to start, but let's try it. Rook 1-1. Gold takes. Knight drop. Knight drop, king runs. No, hold on. So we said rook drop. Rook drop. If gold takes, we drop the knight. King runs, and there's nothing. There's nothing. If the rook drop, the gold would just slide over and take. I think also on that knight drop, the king could run, and then we'd have to drop a gold, takes. Takes. That's not mate in 5. So I think that is not it. So I think we've cut out 1-1. We've cut out the night drop. I think we've cut out 3-1. So what else is there? And we have to drop pieces. We can't move pieces. Hey, Emperor X, nice to see you. Hey, Surgebringer. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's definitely not the end of the world. But I think I started feeling it yesterday when I was streaming. And I just didn't put my finger on it. Where, you know, I felt like in those games, I felt very low depth. I felt like my brain was clouded. And then after the stream, I really got exhausted. And I was just kind of like laying there, kind of flu-like, but I don't want to say flu just because it didn't last long enough and it wasn't bad enough. I think that it would make it flu, but I'm still sort of feeling just a bit drained today, a bit under the weather. I had planned on playing more Shogi Wars, but I'm just gonna put that to the side for now, for that reason. Boy, this is tough. All right, let's try this. Gold 3-2. Gold takes. Rook drop. Pawn drop. The only way for us to check, besides just throwing away the rook, is a knight drop. And the gold can just take that. So I think that's not it. I feel like I've gone through all my possibilities. Yeah, I think you cannot move. Hey, Killer Ducky. According to my understanding, we cannot move any pieces. So this should be an easy problem. You know, this every move has to be a drop. And I think I've already gone through them, so I'm clearly misreading something. Yeah, I've gone through all options. I didn't go through this option, but I think that's just. I think that's easy. So, again, the moves were 2, 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I think these are the only options, and I think I've been through them all. So I'm going to try to make this work again. I'm going to try to make the 3-1 feels like it has to be, because we've got this knight. So rook 3-1, king takes. You know, we want to do this. Knight drop. King runs. Gold drop. King runs. So that's even if that's mate. So if we do the gold drop again, let's say we do the gold drop again. King takes. Knight drop. If the king runs, of course, it's rook on 3-1. You know, this silver is just pinned for, you know, forever on this because of this lance. But if the gold takes the knight, Oh, if the gold takes the knight, it's rook drop 4-1. We don't drop it on the head, we drop it on 4-1. Okay, because the king can't go to 3-2. All right, so that is it. So initially I was all right. So gold, king has to take. If king goes to 1-1, it's rook drop 2-1. So 2-1, king takes, knight drop. King cannot go to 3-2 because we have this bishop diagonal. We have this. And so if king goes to the side here, well, king is here. So if king goes to 2-1, what I already said. I'm sorry. I'm thinking through. I'm thinking multiple. I'm thinking about the next line. I think as I'm describing it. But anyway, let's start this again just to make it clear. Gold drop 3-1. If king 1-1, rook 2-1. So that would be a mate in 3. So king takes. Knight drop. King runs to 2-1. Rook drop 3-1. Gets the king. This pin is... The silver can't take it because it's pinned. So... so gold takes. Gold takes the knight. But now that gold takes the knight, the king is on 3-1. We can just drop the rook on 4-1. King can't go to 3-2 again because of the bishop. And it's trapped. Alright. Alright, so I made that... I think I made that a little bit too difficult for myself. Yeah, I saw the pattern, I just didn't read it well enough. I didn't read it well enough. Yeah, mate in 3 moves, 3 pieces in hand. So main line must drop all the... Exactly. Exactly. So it's the... When I open this one up, it's like, you know, this is the Tsume cheating way. We know that this is the case. So we don't even have to look at the others. So this is in direct contrast to Tuesday's stream where I was doing the Shogi Tsume, which were not that way, you know, which were real problems, and so you had to think about everything. Oh gosh. Oh. All right, I'll do this. I'll spend let's just say I'll spend no more than 7 minutes on this one. Because I do think that there is some sort of calculation benefit to do these. I have to believe that there is some sort of calculation benefit. Some sort of mental strength, like mental muscle benefit, just to thinking about weirdo open board positions in a shogi game. So I'll do this, but I will do this under protest. Because these are, you know, these super artificial problems are just like it's hard for me to focus playing a bot. It's very hard for me, and this is a problem of my own that I should fix, but I can't. Just like playing against a bot, it's hard for me to focus. Doing one of these fake problems is hard for me to focus. Someone thought he was so creative in making this puzzle. He thought he was so creative. So silver moves down. The silver does not promote, so it wouldn't be a check. Hey, VMD Ayaka. It is warm today. It was warmer today. Yeah. Yeah, on my walk, I was, you know, I was sort of bundled up a bit, and I had to take my hoodie off just because it was feeling warm. Well, no, that wouldn't be it. Wait, yeah, yeah. So rook, knight, bishop, king can run this way. So that's not it. All right, let's get to our problem. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 problems here. Five moves on the board, and then 6, 7. Eight, 9. Okay, so we have 9 possibilities. So I think I want to set this up. I want to set this up so I can get the gold over here and then focus on surrounding the king over there. One. What are they gonna do? Like if they block, I think if they block, it's going to be mate. So block. Well, let's a pawn block. Then gold. King has to go this way. Bishop takes. Oh, they can block another. They can block another. Bishop takes. Gold, token takes. And the rook can't do this because the knight is still here. I was trying to get this knight over here. Hey, Rico, nice to see you. Neat. Neat one. Neat one. You missed my rant about these types of problems before you joined. Okay. So how long have I been spending on this problem? I said I wouldn't spend more than 7 minutes on this kind of problem. But so much of the past 7 minutes, I think, has been me ranting about this kind of problem. So it's not fair. Let's go through the motions. Let's drop the rook. King goes over here, and then there's no good way to do anything here. They can block. They block. Try to keep up the checks. They can block again. Try to keep up the checks. Take. This knight is still protecting, making this rook useless. So I think that's not it. Silver. I think the king can just run. Let's just say, yeah, let's say the king can run. I think the king can just run on those. 35 stream streak, very nice. Very nice. Emperor Rex, you thought Rook 3-7? Well, this is what I said to begin with. This was what, I think this is the first one that I think I drew. So Dragon 3-7. So we'll go through this again. Dragon 3-7. I think I said it doesn't work. I think I said I thought it didn't work. Neither of these work. But let's see. So let me just make sure that taking with the king doesn't work. Taking with the king. Horse comes down. If the king takes... Oh, wait, no, if the king takes, then the gold drop is just mate. Gold drop on 3-8 is just mate. So if we do this, yeah, this is just mate. King can't go up because of the horse. So knight takes. I think, like I said before, I think we have to have this here to make this work. But maybe not, because this token is still going to be strong. So, dragon. Takes. Gold drop on 1-8. King can just run to 3-9, and we have nothing to finish with. So I don't think that's it. I don't think that's it. This seems like there's a check in that line that I'm missing. All right, so let's do it. And okay. All right. Very nice. Very nice that you saw this. Not very nice for the program. I think the program is bad. I mean, the problem is bad. I think they felt probably very good about themselves when they made this problem. But the goal of these problems is to improve your shogi. The goal, well, no, that's not true. The goal can be to make weirdo puzzles. Like if your goal is to make weirdo puzzles that you think are cool, then this goal person would have succeeded. So, yeah, like shogi puzzles, they can be art, I suppose, as well. I don't know. Maybe. That's the argument. I think that's one of the arguments. The argument that this can arise in entering king. I'm going to say it doesn't. I'm going to say it won't. But I do think, like, I don't think there's necessarily a pattern there to learn from. But I do think, at least I have to believe, the reason I'm doing these is because I'm hoping that they improve my shogi. So I'm going to have to say that doing weirdo puzzles that will never happen in a game will still improve that calculation and visualization. Well, I don't think that's true, Killer Ducky. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think a lot of the good puzzles, like the pattern is there. Like the basic pattern is like I think that's the thing, is that you get patterns. Like that first problem, the first or second problem that I did today. Like this is a play. Oops, that wasn't it. Like this one. This was very much like a play on the this sort of pattern. Like this is yeah, using Rico's word, like this is a shape problem. This is a shape, and there are multiple tactics in it. You know, exploiting the pin, but like this one, as soon as you see the pattern, you know it's good. And like these patterns do exist a lot. That last one, I just don't think had a pattern. I think it was just like, how weird can I make this? Can I make a line of pieces and still make a puzzle out of it? To me. You think the key shape was a silver with its blind spot blocked by an enemy piece? I think that's a stretch. I think that's a stretch, but maybe. Like I think I would do fine. I think I would do fine. I think my shogi growth development would go better without these kinds of puzzles wasting my time. Well, maybe I don't know. Maybe if they could have put it on the top of the board, I'd agree with you. So let's see this one. So like this one is fine. This one I think we've got. I think this one we've got shapes. You know, we have the defended area. You know, we have this shape, which I think is very much a mating pattern. But we have a defense. You know, there's a defender. So this one feels better to like. I'm not annoyed by this one. I'm not annoyed by this one. If someone has the gall to make a Tsume problem on the bottom of the board, I get annoyed by it. All right, so how are we going to? You know, the silver. This is the blocking problem. Well, I think your visualization and your calculation is just better, and maybe your Tsume experience. Like, you know, I think that's a Tsume problem. That's one where someone who's good at Tsume will get it pretty quickly. But I don't know. Like, I'm just not convinced that type of problem helps shogi development as much as the other types of problems. Like I said, I still think it does help calculation. But I could be wrong. You know, I don't know anything. You know, the one thing I know is that I don't enjoy doing them so much. So, you know, that will immediately mean that I won't get as much out of them. Like, if it was a real game position, I think the bottom of the board ones, I think don't bother me as much when they're real game positions. But again, that's a matter of perspective. So I think, you know, we want to block the lance. So we block the lance. Obviously, if the no, not obviously, no. So if the dragon takes, if the dragon takes, we can't get our mate because, well, the dragon can now take here. Well, if the dragon takes there, then we get the rook over there. So if we do this, take, what am I trying to do? Take, drop the silver. Oh, no. No, I need to keep the silver. So I move my silver. Lance takes. So if the lance, so here we go. Silver 2-4. If the lance takes, dragon 1-3, and there's no way to block. If they block, the dragon just takes. So that would be mate. So the rook has to take. So here the rook has to take, and should I just drop? Yeah, then I just drop. Rook has to take, and then we get the mate this way. Okay. So there we go. Ah! Come on! Come on! This is how they make it. This is how they make the problem set harder, by making the problems lame. Is this like? Come on! Come on! What? Who made this collection? Is this like from 1854 or something like that? This is. Some artisan is in the castle somewhere. Some court jester is in the castle, just writing out problems by hand. All right, let's solve this one. Let's show him. Let's show this 17th century or this 18th century. 19th century Shogi jester who's the boss. Let's show them. So I can't drop the lance, I think, because this happens, and there's no good way to defend that, I think. Yeah, that blocks off this square where I think our horse wants to go here. I think our horse wants to go here. We drop our silver. Again, the king can go here. So that's a square to watch out for. If we drop our silver here right away, the king can come up. Bishop, or Lance. Lance doesn't work, because the king can come out. So... what about this? What about coming out this way? No. No, because the king can just take. Huh. But I solved them instantly and then second guess. Oh, did I? Well, I think that's where I'm working on my calculation. I think a lot of the times, I mentioned this last or two Tsume streams ago. I think the last time I did a play Shogi, is that a lot of times my intuition finds the problem, finds the solution, but my calculation still doesn't seal the deal. So I'm not sure when you said that. So now I need to think, what did I do? What did I do? Oh, the last problem. Oh, okay. Can't draw arrows, but yeah. Alright, it's time to iterate. It's time to iterate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right. So we have 9, 10. We have 10 ways to check. Ways to check. So I think I'm gonna get rid of the most obvious bad ones, I think. And there's no way to really do anything here. So 1, I think this is the same problem, same obvious wrongness. Can't drop a silver. As he runs, I drop a lance. Goes back. Alright, so I'm going to discard that one. So the horse moves I am discarding. Lance move. Huh. So that is mate. That is mate. So that is mate in 3. So Lance, if the king runs to their right, if the king runs to 4-8, this is mate. Yeah, they can't block because force just takes. So that's that side. So how about now the king running to this side? Okay, so king runs here. Silver drop, protected by the horse. King has to run. And now we expose the attack. And that's it. Oh, no, that's not it. Okay, so it is important. It's important to block the bishop. It's important to block the bishop. Okay, so here we go. Lance, king has to run to this side. Silver on 1-8. King has to run to 1-9. Lance now goes up to 3-7, blocking the bishop, exposing the check. So that's it. Okay. Number 17. Number 17. Hey, Arnold! Your tip was going to be one of the variations punishes you for treating it like a Tsume puzzle. What do you mean? What do you mean? Oh, taking that bishop feels very un-Tsume. Yeah, it does. It totally does. It totally does. Yeah, taking material. I'm out of tea, so I'm sorry. I'm going to take a quick break here. I'm just going to run over and oh gosh, I hope I left the tea. I hope I left the tea on the temp. But I will be right back. All right, back. Hey, Koshiro. Yeah, I'm still running this this Toho Still running this Toho playlist. All right. And I apologize. I grabbed an almond, and the minute I put it into my mouth, as I was waiting for the Itoen tea to brew, I grabbed a raw almond, and immediately after I started biting it, I realized it was going to be a bad idea because it leaves the bit of almond kind of in the teeth, and so now while I'm sitting here, there's going to be almond in my teeth. I mean, this feels like this might be a solution, but I think it's too obvious, so I think it won't be a solution. Like it's a too obvious attack. So take oh, no, okay, so that's not it. So it would be take King would run here. Now that almond is going to my throat. Yeah, I am liking this one already. I like this one already. Even if it's leading me into a wrong line, I like being able to... I like calculating these. Alright, I'm going to go to a next... So I don't think this is it. I think this is going to be a weakness that I won't be able to deal with. I think coming up and then the king going to 2-3, I think this is going to create a weakness that I can't deal with. I think. Gold. Here. And now there's no good way to... Now there's no way to check. I drop the silver on 2-3, the king just takes the pawn and is off to the races. If I drop a silver, if I do this, king goes to 2-3, I drop the silver on 2-4. I think the king can still take this. So that my next one is just taking out here. Yeah, obviously, if the rook takes, it's an easy mate. If the knight takes, it's an easy mate. So the only move is the king to take. Silver. King can't go here because... It feels to me that this is a mate. It just takes more moves. So I think I... I'm now blinded by this possibility also. But anyway, I'm going to stay down this line. Oh, hey Ronald, nice to see you. And bishop takes 1-1 would work if there was no escape route at 3-4. Well, there isn't an escape route, right? The escape route is through 3-2, right? Because we could drop the gold here if the king goes to 1-3. Ronald, you're on the 5-day streak. Oh, really? I would have guessed if you would have asked what I would have guessed your streak is, I would have said 15. Maybe you've shown up on YouTube more lately. Rico, so this is a good point. And you say, I'll read it. I'll say, you say, and I quote, I know some people are very adamant about solving in your head first, but you think drawing arrows or playing out variations is fine as a path to learning to do it all in your head. This is when I started doing these Tsume streams a while. Let me step back. When I solve in book or off stream, I will just say when I solve off stream, I do it all in my head and then make the moves quickly. When I started streaming, I was doing it without making arrows, and when I would rewatch those streams, it felt to me like it was a little less engaging. And so me doing the so I took that off. I took that requirement off myself just in the hopes that maybe the stream would be a little more interesting to follow. Because even if I'm talking through the variations, it's not as visible, especially for some people that don't know the notation or struggle to read the notation. I think it's less accessible. So I started, especially for as these problems got harder for me, I think it makes even more sense is that it makes it a little more engaging. That's I think that's arguable. Because I have never been like a massive fan of Tsume streams myself, like watching them. But I know some people really enjoy it. I think the direct messages that I get about the stream, where someone will say, and I think it's because it's not the norm. It's more common that you might get these messages. But the most common sort of comment about the stream type that I get that someone says that they enjoyed is the Tsume streams, which is always surprising to me. It's a huge surprise. Whenever I get a direct message and someone was like, I love the Tsume streams, please do more of them. I'm like, wow, it's so stunning to me because I think maybe it's because people also like the chat that happens during the Tsume streams, and the playing streams are sometimes a little more sweaty, to use a fighting game term. But maybe that's a sign that I need to play a little less sweaty when I'm playing games on stream, and maybe that's it, because some people also really like the Shogi playing streams, the Shogi and the 81 Dojo casual streams. I think some people really like the casual streams more than the try-hard streams. And the problem is, even when I'm casual, I'm try-hard. Maybe some people don't play the same opening. Yeah. And so maybe it would be nice to play some more openings so that people would be interested in them. But, that's the problem is there are so many openings. There are so many openings in Shogi, and even if I pick another one or two, it's going to be tough. Yeah, let's play some duck. Maybe that's a thing that people may not enjoy. People may not enjoy a lack of variety unless it's duck, in which case everyone loves the duck streams. Yeah. Well, and then there's what Rico is saying is that some people watch because of the opening. It's really tough to make that balance, because the shogi streamers or YouTubers that I watch, like, I watch them because they play Urashino Ryu. Except for Utsunomiya Shogi channel, which has the over-the-board aspect to it. Pretty much, I watch Urashino Ryu channel and Urashino Sensei, and it's because they play Urashino Ryu. When Urashino Sensei is doing more Furibisha, I don't watch his streams as much. And actually, sometimes because he has started playing mostly Urashino, or he has started playing. Maybe it's not started. Maybe he's been doing it for a while. But lately, every time someone else is doing Furibisha, he's doing pretty much opposing Rook. So I'm not watching his streams as much anymore. I'm still supporting his channel. I'm still a member of his channel, but I'm not watching his streams very often. His time is, he pretty much stops around the time when I'm feeding Atari. So it's always hard to get one of his streams live. But I used to watch them live and then watch them the VOD. But because he's playing so much Furibisha, I'm not watching it as much. And instead of him, there's the Torizashi player who doesn't always play Urashino Ryu or whatever, but he plays Torizashi. It's the Koshiro knows who I'm talking about. He's a cactus. I can't remember his name right now. There's a D in it. Saboten D. Saboten D is a really good live YouTuber. And he plays a lot of Torizashi, and I get a lot out of him. But yeah, so there's that balance where, some people are watching this. Some people are watching this channel for Urashino Ryu. And, it's tough. It's tough. Like, I think about what Eric Rosen does. I think Eric Rosen has a lot of people that watch for his opening, for that trap that he does. I think a lot of people watch it, but I think my guess is most people that watch him don't play his openings. But I wouldn't. I have no way to put that into like Grandmaster Gowry. I don't know. He's an international. He's now an international master. Congrats to him. He plays a lot of different things, I think. So I don't know if people watch him for his opening or they just watch him for his chess. Like John Bartholomew, on the other hand, while he's a great teacher, I think a lot of people also watch him for his openings. Because we'll have chosen our openings because we like him as a teacher. Yeah, anyway. Interesting stuff. I tried to add KKS to my repertoire, and that did not work. That did not work. I am gradually moving Murata System into my opening repertoire, but I don't know how many people are interested in that. It seems like so many of the Western Shogi players are Furibisha players. And, now that I am not playing Central Rook, I think it's hard to... It's hard to appease that desire. Yeah, Shogi is just there's so much variation. Anyway, so this one, I'm still gonna make this work. I'm gonna make Bishop 1-3 work. King has to take. We know that the king has to take. You moved to the biggest concentration of Ibisha players in the country? Oh, is you think in Seattle? Interesting. If you wanted I for Ibisha, you should have moved to Northern California, because that's pretty much all anyone plays. Wow, wow. I think of Time Zombie as a Sanken Bisha player. So that's strange. I think of Time Zombie as classic third file rook. Hey Todovsky, you say you hope Rosen's openings improve considerably as he earned norms and titles. His game was pretty wild. Your game with him was pretty wild. Man, yeah, I don't know. I have no way to evaluate, but I know that Stafford Gambit is still like people seem to just go gaga over Stafford Gambit. Oh, you've only played against TZ's Ibisha. Maybe against for Ibisha players, TZ will go Ibisha. Interesting. So yeah, so okay, so I think this one's easier than I thought it was, but we come back. We know that the king has to take. We know that the king has to take because if either the bishop or the rook takes, it's just gold 2-2. So bishop 2-3, king takes, silver 1-4. If the king takes, it's the classic pattern with gold drop on 2-4. So so the king can only go back to 1-2. The king cannot go to 2-2 because it's protected by the gold, and can't go now to 2-3 because the silver is protecting that. Yeah. So this one is, I think, relatively straightforward. But I like this pattern. You know, using the gold on the pawn. Avoiding the rook. All right, problem 18. Problem 18. I want to somehow make this work. You know, I want this to work. My heart says rook 4-2. My brain says silver 4-1. So let's see. And probably neither are right. So let's go with my brain first. Silver 4-1. You know, rook king can't go to 3-1 because gold on 3-2. So king cannot go to 2-3. Well, they can't. Yeah, king cannot go to 2-2 because bishop drop. Right? Yeah, bishop. Yes. I think. Hold on. Yeah, this is there's too much defense on this square. There's too much defense on that square. So I think that's not it. So my heart, Maria, my heart. Hmm. All right, I think this is going to be trickier. Hey, Foradun, nice to see you. I think this one's going to be trickier than my brain or my heart is saying. So I'm going to continue. I'm continuing on my heart. So, Rook 4-2 promote, King takes. Yeah, and I think that's it. I think the king just runs. So I'm going to say that is not it. I'm going to say we can't drop the gold on the top because the king could just take the silver. So neither of those. Neither of those. You know, the get over here move I think doesn't work because the king can just run. I think the king just runs. You know, the best move is probably bishop drop 4-3 because we win the rook. King runs, you know, we get the rook, and the game is over. So that's mate in 2. That's mate in 2. Well, no, that wouldn't be mate in 2. Because the king would come this way. I win the game by winning the rook, but he wins the game back by taking my rook. All right, I'm thinking. Now I'm looking at moves. My brain is looking at other ways to capture this rook, while making big threats. I'm looking at this. All right. We're doing a Tsumeshogi problem. We're doing a Tsumeshogi problem. No more. Gold 3-2. King takes, or gold takes. Bishop drop. King can go up. Okay, so that's not it. That's not it. A comment you made earlier returns. Oh no. Which one? So was it my first? Was it my brain? So silver 4-1. Yeah, this would be mate. So the king can't run there. King can't go here because of that. So silver 4-1. Only move is this. We can't check. We can't check because the king will run this way. So what about the bishop? So again the bishop. For all the same reasons as this. So this my fear with the bishop drop is that the silver becomes useless. But king runs this way. We take this gold. King takes. And there's no mate because the rook is guarding down here. I'm still looking at this 4-1. 4-1, king 3-3. Got to do something to protect this rook. You know, the problem is bishop here, gold takes. And I still don't have a mate, because the king can still go this way. Yeah, king takes 4-4 is the issue. If we drop the bishop, I think this is... And then the king can run this way. Check. Oh, that's not... Oops. I skipped the next. So... Now we're stuck, and now we're stuck, and now we're stuck because the silver is the promoted silver would be blocking us. You know, bishop. Oops. Let's look at something else. No, because then that way may. But that's... Wait, but that's a mate in 7. Hold on. So Bishop. No, he still can go down here. So would it promote? We could take, but again, he still goes down. All right, so I don't think that's it. At least for now, I don't think that's it. I'm gonna look at some other stuff. And there's absolutely nothing there. Let's say we start immediately. There's zero chance that this is it because it's a Tsume problem. So like practical moves will never be in a composed Tsume problem. So that's not it, because there's two pieces defending here. Ooh. Alright, time to iterate. Time to iterate through all the checks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the gold. 1, 2 with the silver. Well, 3 with the silver, because it's also no promote. One. This is almost too hard to iterate through. All right. So I think Rico has given a hint here. Yeah. So it's starting to look like a Hikaru stream. Except he's too good. Like he wouldn't take this long. Okay, so it wasn't a hint. Okay. Darn. Okay, so silver 4-3, no promote. I think is still the same. It's still bad. We can't come over because the gold takes. And we drop the gold. King can just run, and there's nothing. The silver blocks. All right, so let's look at these bishop ones. Let's look at capturing the rook again. Let's look at this one. So 1, 2. Wait, no. If the king does go here, we take. King takes. Rook takes. Or rook promotes. King goes down to 2-2. Gold drop. King runs. And we get mate. That's a long mate. That's a very long mate. So there must be. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's not mate. Well, 6, 7. They can't block because. Oh, I don't have a bishop. I don't have a bishop anymore. I only have a knight. I don't have a knight. I don't have a bishop. I lost the bishop. No, I don't need the hint yet. Not yet. Let's... Okay, so I don't think this is it because I think this is a way to get away. We could drop a gold, but we could drop a gold to pull, but there's still... The king can just run. Okay, so that... I think that's not it. Let's look back on the bishop... Bishop here. It's for the same reason. For the same reason. Well, no, it's not for the same reason, because this would be mate. This would... I think this is rendering the silver useless here, but... I'm not a huge fan of this song, and it feels like it's been going on for an hour. I'm going to manually fast forward this one. It's a 10-minute song. And it was almost over. And we still end up with the same... We end up with the same problem here. We end up with the same... It's just now instead of a bishop, we have a horse. We haven't really solved anything, I think. So I don't think that that is it. Again here. Yeah, I don't think there's anything here. I come back, and the king just goes up, and that ends the hopes. I think that ends those hopes. there's a lot of good throwaway hints in this one since there are so many potential candidates. What do you mean? What do you mean about throwaway hints? Well, that's a new term to me. Oh, hints that don't tell you the solution. Yeah, there are a lot of candidates. Yeah, this is the... I think this 3-3 is the key. Like Jar Jar, he's the key to all this. Oh, I still have a gold. I still have a gold. Ah. Okay. King can now no longer go to 2-2. Can't go to 3-2 because the silver's got it. Can't go to 4-2. Okay. All right. So my brain had it from the beginning. My brain had it from the beginning. My heart did not have it. My brain had it. I just couldn't see it through. It's the calculation. It's the calculation that is the big problem for me. That one only took like 45 minutes. That problem, it only took 45 minutes. Yeah, my reading, my calculation is what needs, I think, a lot of that improvement. I think I noticed that in reviewing streams, too, is that a lot of times I have the right idea when I'm making, especially if I'm making a panicked attack, like where my time is running low. I make the right first moves, but it's the actual finishing touch that ends up being wrong. Okay, so I'm already mad at this one. But what the heck is this Tokeen doing here? Like what in the heck is this Tokeen doing here? Promote. Rook promotes. Oh, the idea is that if the king runs, we can drop the pawn, and then the king... Well, no, the king wouldn't be able to run there. Okay, so we need to take this pawn. I think we need to take the pawn. We need to give the king enough room to run. So, rook takes 2-2. Obviously, if the king runs down, we just bring the dragon back. So king goes up. We drop the pawn. Backed by the bishop. So the king has to go to 1-4. And then we push the Tokeen back down on its head. I think. Well, so but we need to watch for the block. We need to watch for the block. We need to watch for the block. So let me just make sure that that other variation was correct. So rook takes 2-2. King goes to 1-5. Pawn drop 1-5 or 1-6. King goes to 1-4. Token 1-3. So that way is mate. So now we need to think about the block. Silver takes, or bishop takes. So this pawn is protecting against this. So I think that's why this pawn exists, is to protect against that. So I think I'm in the right path. I think I'm on the right path. Not this. I come back down. Goes to 1-5. I can't go this way because then the king can go that way. Dropping doesn't I don't think it repeats. I don't think it repeats. Because the king runs, right? Am I just, so I come back, they drop, I take, king goes to 1-5. And then the next move is not check. Yeah, because I need to reestablish that bishop check somehow. And I think that's why this pawn... I think this pawn is actually ending this variation. I think this pawn, because then if we drop the pawn, it goes there, we can no longer do this. That's my guess as to why this exists. So if we do this and the king runs, what about just taking? What about just taking? Taking the bishop. King goes up here. Yeah, that's not good. Well, then we could drop our bishop here, and then the king goes down there, and there's the mate. No, it isn't, because the king can now run here. So how can we check? Our checks are extremely limited. It's pawn, and it is, I mean, death. It is death. It is promote. Which I think nullifies this token. So I think we need to keep this token. But anyway. Yeah, so it's only a pawn drop and rook moves. So I think this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is only 7 moves, and 6 of them are the rook. And I think we can discard this because of what I just looked at. But if this problem goes on longer, I'll take more time. The pawn drop. Bishop takes. Well, no, pawn drop, I think pawn drop, the king can just run. And so now there's no way to check. And keep him pinned in. Other than pushing the pawn again. I guess we can look at that. And he just comes back. And we repeat the position just with one pawn down. So, how about rook to 4? Now they can't drop a pawn. Rook 2-4. They have to block. And then we drop the pawn. Bishop takes. And then bishop takes here. Would be mate. But that can't work. That cannot work because this wouldn't exist here. This token wouldn't exist here. So if this was the solution, this token wouldn't exist here. But I'm going to look through the solution again. So rook 2-4 does not promote. Well, rook 2-3 promote. Let's do rook 2-3 promote. Oh, no. I need it to be there. I need it to be there. I need it to be there so that the king can't run. Okay. Okay. Yeah, exactly, Rico. Exactly. Yeah, I just picked up on this. So I would have not knee-food. I would have made an illegal move here. I've done that before. I've lost a game based on promoting early. Hey, Oregon Moniwa, nice to see you. I have promoted on the 4th rank here before. So, do this. Let's just say they block again. Let's say they block a lance. And we'll ignore that it's a lance. We'll ignore that it's a lance from now. This, oh, so if this puzzle annoyed you, then it's gonna be, it's no surprise. I mean, it's a totally fake puzzle. It's a totally garbage puzzle. You know, I hate these puzzles. You know, I really dislike these. You know, this is a fun puzzle. Like, this is not, for me, this is not the peak Tsumeshogi stuff. I think we've had three so far on this stream. 3 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3 out of 7 have been bottom of the board kings, you know, which I think are a little too artificial. But let's work on my calculation. So if I come up here, they drop a lance. I take back. King goes to 1-5, and now I don't have a way to check. Pawn 1-6, king goes to 1-4. And I can't bring the token. Oh boy. So what's the trick here? What's the trick? There's a trick here. There's a trick. This is not a problem. This is a trick. The author of this problem is trying to trick me. They're trying to get me to spend time not improving in Shogi so that they can beat me in Shogi. Exactly. I just give me another gold. Just give me a gold. Can I play at any point in coming here and, you know, exposing this? This... This is important. I think it's going to be a foundation for what I'm going to do with the rook, I think. So he blocks. Oops. Oh boy. I accidentally clicked the time run. Hold on. Sorry. That was problem 18, 19, 19. You know, I said there were 8 moves for the rook. There are not. There are also more. There are also more. I can go to the side. I can go to the side. Oops. I was trying to draw an arrow. I think I can't take this. I can't take this because it pulls the king this way. And it renders this token useless. I think, or could it be that I take, so if I do this, he blocks, whatever he blocks with, I take, king goes up. No, so I take this pawn. No, it can't be a pawn. It can't be a pawn because every other piece would mate. Every other piece would mate. He cannot drop a silver or a bishop because the bishop is right here. So I come up. They drop whatever piece they drop. Let's say they drop a knight. I take. If the king comes to 1-7, knight drop is mate. If they had dropped a lance, knight drop 1 or lance drop 1-8 is mate. So I take. He drops whatever. I take. They go up. I drop the pawn. He comes up. And now it's toking back. I'm going to say that that's the answer. That's why this bishop is here. This bishop is here so that they cannot give us a bishop in hand. That's meta. I've never seen a Tsume problem do that. But I think that's what it is. Okay, well, it's not. Alright. Alright, well, I'm just guessing and checking now. I'm done with this problem. I'm done with this problem. Did I miss a first check? Hold on. So every possible move, I must have missed a first check. I must be missing a first check. I don't see any other moves. I don't see any other way. I see no other way to check. So there's no way in this problem to give the answer. There's no way on Play Shogi to give the answer. All right, Rico, I need you. I need you. Because every single possible candidate move that I see on the board doesn't exist. I've already played. Like there's no logic. I mean, I don't need to solve why it's mate. I've already tried every single move that I think is a check. I'm missing the first check. I have tried every single move that I see. Oh, for fuck. Don't even. Moving on. Thank you, problem creator from the 1800s that has wasted the last 30 minutes of my life. Thank you. I hope the satisfaction that you gained by making that problem makes up for the fact that you've been dead for 100 years now. Yeah, before I get too... Yeah, I was on the right track, but I didn't solve the rest. Yeah. Why they couldn't drop. Because my horse was there. Yeah. Well, you say it's not going to get better to me if you lash out when a problem frustrates you. It's just... If this ever happens, I see there's no way to find it, but like the no promote. What do I think about shorter time limits for Tsume say? I think it's a good idea. Like I do think timed is good, but I don't mind. Like I like my feeling is that. And this is what I'm hoping for with the ones that take me a long time, is that I'm building that calculation. I'm definitely building, I feel like I am building calculation skills, and I don't want to make too much out of it, but I do feel that the more I do these types of streams where I'm doing untimed Tsume, that are a little hard for... They're hard for me on stream. Whether I would have difficulty with most of these off stream is another matter. I suspect I would be much faster off stream doing these. But, I feel like in my games that I am playing after I do these, that my calculation is better. Whether or not that's true, I could just be telling myself that. But I do think it is helping my calculation to do slower stuff that makes me think and makes me sometimes brute force out. I get the intuition hit and then I try to force it out. So I think it is helping me. It's just that like a problem like that, which has no which would never occur in real life. I just don't like them. It's whatever. Yeah, I think on this, so on the ones that I don't like, the king at the bottom of the board or something that feels whatever, I should have a faster time limit on it. And when I did the other one earlier, it's like, okay, I'll take 7 minutes on this one, and that's it. So let's look at this. So we have a discovered attack. We have a discovered check. The discovered check will block this bishop. Um, I am trying to figure out where I can sacrifice this rook. So if we went like this, your king would have to take because it's a double check. This would be good if there wasn't the knight here. Can we do this? No. Yeah. We can't. That would be mate. So that would be one way. I don't want to spend too much time on this variation because I don't think this is going to be right. This doesn't feel like a Tsume answer. So if knight takes, it is mate. So if the king runs, it's mate as well. Because now the double attack happens and the promoted knight is guarded. The king can't take it because it's guarded by the rook. Maybe it is. I guess that there's no way to block. There's no way to block. I guess that is it. Yeah, they can't block. They cannot block. Because I still just take. So let's look at the knight takes. Knight takes. Knight promote. It's a double check, so the king has to take. And then we get the... I think this is the chess... I think this is Swallowtail's mate, I think. I think that's what they call this one in chess. When the queen's here and guarding, hitting that. Is it Dovetail's mate? Swallowtail's mate? Alright, well, I think that's it. Okay, then. Alright. I lucked into that one. Lucked into seeing it pretty quickly. I'll have to rewatch that one. I'll have to rewatch that solve just to figure out why I even considered that. I'm curious why I considered that one so early. And maybe I said something. Alright, so we are on problem 21. Problem 21. I need more tea. I am out of water and I'm out of tea, so I will be right back. And let me just check. Let me just check to see if is the YouTube chat showing up on stream? It looks like it may not be. No, it is. It is. It is. Oh, I said, I'm looking where to sack the rook. Okay, okay. Darn. So it was a Tsume. It was a Tsume answer. I'm gonna also reload this page because now that I clicked that started time run, it messed up the layout a bit. Okay, there we go. All right, I will be right back. I'll leave it on this. Okay. All right. Yeah, I hope everyone is having a nice Thursday as well. Yeah, we're getting close to the weekend. I'm the weight of having to record the next podcast is starting to build on my shoulders. So so I think that's the weekend is now being jaded, not jaded, but the weekend is now my weekend is now being impacted by not being by this, you know, by the weight of having to produce the next podcast. And I'm not sure what, I'm not sure what the next topic is going to be yet, and not getting any interview subjects coming in. Gosh, I was so jealous. There's a chess podcast called oh my gosh. It's the podcast where he asks if anyone has played chess. It's Chess Journeys. Chess Journeys Tales of Adult Improvement. It's an interview podcast. And he now has it's a weekly chess interview podcast, and he is on. I have episode 249 right now. I think every single one of these is an interview. I think the ones where he does like year-end summaries, I think he doesn't call that by an episode number. But either way, he has around 250 interviews. And I think he's got a huge backlog of people, because I think he's been doing this for a year or two, where he has like just a spreadsheet out there, or I think he has like a form out there where someone essentially requests to be a guest. So it's like you've got to make your case to be a guest on that show. Meanwhile, like I'm just begging just to get anybody. You've watched them all. Thank you. I appreciate it. It seems that the viewership is going down on the podcast. I don't know if that's true, or if somehow it was holiday related or something else. It'll be interesting to see how that pans out. But viewership and likes on YouTube are down over the past few podcasts. I'd say past 5 podcasts, and it cannot be explained by people switching to the RSS feed to use in podcast listeners, because those numbers are not very high. You know, I have full stats on the people that download the audio only podcast, and those numbers are not all that high. You're going to the Shogi Club on Saturday, so the week has been dragging. Oh yeah, sometimes looking forward to that. Yeah. Speaking of interview podcasts, you started listening to All Things Go. It drives you crazy that he splits his interviews into multiple episodes. Oh wow. Oh, that would drive me nuts. Yeah. I think I tried All Things Go, and I never got into it because the very first episode, I think I'm thinking of the right podcast, but he's like, you know, he went into the justification for why he's doing a podcast. And I think he says, like, you know, there isn't another one out there. It's like, hello, Starpoint Podcast has been out there for a long time. And, maybe he just phrased it badly. But I was kind of ticked off by that. So it set me off on the wrong foot listening to the podcast. You'll have multiple people being interviewed in one episode and also split them into parts. Very strange. Very strange. Maybe he's worried about not being able to make enough weeks. Maybe he foresaw the problems that I'm having, where it's now a real struggle to make a weekly episode. So he's just padding it out there, hoping that something happens. I don't know. There is a nice balance. There is a nice balance of time versus having. Yeah, and for everyone it's different. I like long interviews, 2-3 hours. I definitely like that. I understand that some people would say, oh, I only really want an hour-long podcast every week, or a 30-minute podcast. I've heard people say, like, they want 30-minute podcasts. Not to me about the Shogi thing, but I've heard people in general say, oh, I only listen to podcasts that are 30 minutes long. And it's strange to me. In the end, it doesn't matter that it's strange to me. It is what people feel. but it is strange to me because it's like, well, if you only want a 30-minute episode, do 2 sittings. You know, if it's an hour episode and you only like 30-minute episodes, like, split it up on your own. It's very strange to, like, that mindset is very strange to me. But I think lots of people have that mindset, so it's something that, you know, needs to be respected. You think he started producing the podcast before Starpoint? I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of a different Go podcast then. Because there was a podcast that started well after Starpoint. And the first episode, unless he re-released, unless like he had recorded it a long time before. You say Cortex Podcast explain that podcasts either consume prepared materials or interviews with guests or consume the host. So it's easier to use prepared materials. Yeah. Well, that's. I mean, Todowski, that is true. I think that's a true thing. Is that, you know, I'm prepared. The episodes. It may not seem like it. You know, I am not very good at this. I am admittedly very bad as a podcast host. But the solo episodes are entirely scripted, and not scripted, but like they are entirely produced, not necessarily word for word scripted, but a lot of it is scripted. And, you know, the flow of it is very much written down. You know, I have a document that I'm reading as I'm reading and going through as I am doing those episodes. So it is all prepared. It's all prepared material. There is not much in those solo episodes that I think up off the top of my head. And so, you know, there's at least 2 or 3. There are at least 2 or 3 hours before that podcast of preparation where I'm trying to do that. But now that I'm not out of topics. I still have a list of topics, but none of them really speak to me. So I am being consumed with the selection of the next podcast episode, and it's becoming, I don't want to say a burden, but it is something that is looming large in my mind every week now. I'm thinking of the right one, but he records in batches. Well, those batches must have been really early, which is possible. But you say a lot of podcasters, get around this by planning the show notes for the entire season before they record anything and go on break. Yeah. So that's the thing, is that I was, when I started this, I think I said to you and to other people while I was streaming, is that I would only do it if I had at least 6 months worth of material. And because I didn't want to make a podcast that would just, people might start liking and then would just go away after 5 episodes or 4 episodes or 8 episodes or whatever. So I built up, a long list of topics, and my hope was that I would get a lot of interviews, and it's sort of been somewhere in the middle there. I still have topics, so I still have some topics. The podcast has gone on for over 6 months. We have 27 episodes, and so a bunch of them were interviews. Not as many as I'd like, just because, if only because, my one of the reasons is that I want to focus on the people that are doing stuff out there, and that I assume that they'll be more compelling than I am. So I still have some I still have some topics, but trying to come up with new topics is tough. This is not the most active community out there, and it's not the most active hobby, especially as someone who doesn't speak Japanese. So there's evergreen content, but there's not a lot of like there was for example, there was some of the current events type stuff. There was Miss King preview. There was Shogi Club 24 shutting down. You know, we do get those kinds of news, and those turned into sort of topical episodes. But you know, how many times can I do a podcast about reviewing your games, or playing versus study, you know, that kind of thing. And I think Starpoint Go podcast ran into the same problem, where, you know, after, I want to say it was after around 20 episodes, you know, I love the podcast. Don't get me wrong, and I hesitate to criticize anyone, you know, knowing especially now how hard this is, but I think Starpoint Go podcast, there's a very clear decline once he ran out of topics, and you know, making a weekly podcast, I think the majority of the Starpoint Go podcast has just been the podcast on life support, where, you know, these topics, they're not that compelling. So, you know, it's tough, and I don't want this podcast to sort of, I don't want that to happen, where it just kind of peters out and kind of goes quietly, or you know, and gets, you know, lame, for lack of a better word. But you know, I'm not getting any interviews. Before, you say that you had an interesting stat. You heard an interesting stat from Rick Beato. 90% of podcasts don't make it past 3 episodes. Of the 10 that do make it past 3 episodes, 90% of those don't make it past episode 20. Yeah, I believe that. And you know, I have subscribed to a number of those. It feels like I've subscribed to a lot of those episodes where it's like, oh, this is a great topic. This is awesome. This is going to be really good. And it's like, oh, I like this, the way this speaker speaks. You know, I like what they have to say. I like how they deliver the podcast. And then 5 episodes later, you know, they're on an extended hiatus. And then that extended hiatus becomes, you know, permanent retirement for that podcast. And so I never wanted to do, you know, knowing that the Shogi world doesn't have any podcasts, I said, you know, I told myself that I am not going to just make, if this is the first Shogi podcast, I'm going to at least make it so that if someone finds it and they really like it, they're going to have a bingeable podcast. Like, they're going to be able to at least go through 6 months worth of episodes. And so that's what I, you know, that's what I did. And it's, I'm past that point, and I'm still, you know, trying to continue. Obviously, you know, I enjoy doing it. I really enjoy it, and I'd like to keep doing it. But it is tough as the topics sort of dry up, and as the topics dry up, and as the interviews dry up. Rico, you think counting on interviews is hard when you rely on people coming to you? Yeah, I hear you. I just you know, there are a few people that I would like, you know, to interview that I would have asked, and they have not asked. But like, it's not even a handful of people. So, like, while I think asking people would get me some more interviews, I don't think it solves the problem, because it would get me like 3 more interviews. And that's assuming they said yes. And at this point, you know, the interview show has been going, the podcast has been going for over 6 months. So now, you know, if someone, you know, someone who I would ask to be interviewed, they know of the interview show, and they know that I'm looking for guests. And so the fact that they haven't asked or the fact that they haven't volunteered to be on, is I'm making a lot out of that. I'm making something out of that, like, oh well, they must not want to be on the podcast. So now I wouldn't ask them anyway because they'd. So it's mind games. It's mind games. You were going to disagree with me, but then you remembered he recently did an episode trying to analyze what SpongeBob's Go rank is. Yeah, they've been tough. They've been tough. Magic Based, hey, you were planning to ask within a few months to talk about the game. Yeah, I figured that was going to happen. So you say that, and that was exactly what, that was my expectation, too. So I'm glad that we're on the same sort of, not to use a corporate term that I would never use in my life. So this is now, a world premiere of me using this phrase. Now that we're on the same page. This is a world premiere. This is a world premiere. I have never used that. Other than in irony, I have never used that phrase before. But it's tough. It's really tough. But when I see the chess podcasts, where, like I said, this guy has 250 episodes out there, and people have to fill out a form to sort of apply to be a guest for his podcast, and he's just got a huge list. I'm so envious, so envious. You were going to argue that On the Same Page was religious in origin, but so is so I have never, in a religious context, I've never heard anyone say On the Same Page. But I've heard a lot of middle managers who don't know what they're talking about say On the Same Page. Oh, boy. A lot of middle managers and project managers. Funny. So we need to solve this problem. We need to solve this problem. This is problem 21 on the Tsume and 5 of 5. But yeah. So just to answer a question that I was asked this week, someone had direct messaged me and asked if it is okay. They asked very nicely if it is okay to suggest a topic for the podcast. And let me just answer. Yeah, not only is it not okay, I would love it. I would love it. So if anyone is like, well, I don't want to impose by giving my, something by giving my ideas, please do. Please do. Yeah. These are all big names. Like these are all big names, and maybe I just I'm a these. Yeah. Yeah. It's tough. It's tough. Like those are big guys in the community, and none of them are native English speakers. So that's also something that I'm trying to balance. And maybe I'm making too big of a deal out of it. Because, I can understand that people whose native language is not English might not want to speak on a podcast. Because some people more than others, like, they don't like how they sound, they don't like this, or they don't like that. I know a bunch of people, in real life that, like, they're just, they nonstop talk about how they hate how they sound. And it's like, you sound great. Don't, you know, it's like, but you know, no amount of reassuring people sometimes can help that. And it's understandable. You know, public speaking or speaking even privately is tough. Yeah. Well, so I know their English. So I know their English is fine. No, like I've heard them, but sometimes those people themselves aren't comfortable, or you know, they don't like it. And to be fair, you know, I do know Mark. I do know Mark, and I've spent a lot of time, like a decent amount of time with Mark, including on the Waymo ride in this past year's tournament. I still don't think he'd have any idea who I am, though. I don't think he has any idea who I am. He's got a lot of people, you know, vying for his time, and I'm just a peon. So looking at this one, I think, you know, we end up getting here, but this would be mate. Oh, no, this would not be mate, because the rook can't take our own bishop. And we can't do this because the king goes out this way. And now they can block. We can't do this, even assuming that the king, even assuming that this would work. I think the king can just run. I think this is probably worth short-circuiting, just not even spending much time on yet, because as the gold takes, we've now exposed escape squares. It could interview Habu. Yeah. I'll just text message him. I'll just message him. I'll iMessage him. Yeah, he and I have been talking about it, but you know, he's been busy with his matches. Speaking of, he's been doing really well lately, right? You're friends with him on Facebook. You'll just send him a message. No biggie. Just like Watanabe. I mean, I've got Watanabe. He's on my Shogi Wars friends list. No big deal. No big deal. Shogi Hiroki. All right, I think I need to iterate through these moves. One, because I'm struggling to see. I'm struggling to see outside of the bishop here and the rook there. I'm struggling to see first ideas. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, oof, 11, 12, 13. Well, a lot of candidates in this one. 14. We got a lot of candidates here. No, I believe that you are. I mean, I definitely believe that you are. But I wouldn't think that you would message him that. But maybe you would. How many Kishin coaching tickets to get a pro from Shogi Wars on the... Yeah, exactly. Yeah. How many Kishin Shogi coaching tickets? I think we can discard the silvers here. Anything that lets the king get over there is letting it out. We cannot let the king get to 3-4, I think. I think we can't let the king get to 3-4. I think we can't let the king get to 4-2 either. So I already looked at I looked at this. And it's still just Hey, Tulip, nice to see you. Yeah. Okay, so I think all the dragon moves let the king get to 3-4. Do we block it off? No. This still lets the king get out here. This still lets the king get over here. The silver drops also let the king get over there. I can't draw arrows. All the silver drops, even these as well, let the king get here. 3-4, 2-4, and 1-4 silver drop all lets that. And again, the dragon, I think that allows now, whatever we do, the king to run. And even if this move worked, in most ways, I think it still allows the king to run this way. So if we take this gold, so I think that, assuming that I was right in my calculation for bishop drop 1-2, that basically just leaves, I think that just leaves bishop takes 3-3. But not really. Not really, because the gold can just take. The gold can just take, and it's the same position. It's the same basic position. And it's going to be subject to the same problems. Okay, if he drops, then I drop the gold here. No, because then he can run. Boy, this is a tricky one. This is tricky. You think bishop 4-5 is promising? So I looked at that, but I thought after the pawn drop, now what? Now what? Push the pawn. Gold takes. Like I said before, the king can't run here because this is obviously mate. So if we drop this, oops. We drop 4-5, they drop a pawn. We drop the silver. This is looking promising. We drop the silver. King goes back. And it's mate. So I think the way then is, the way to defend then is bishop drop, gold comes up this way. You're leaving this square open. So bishop drop, gold 4-3-4. If we try to use the silver, take, king runs. Now it's no longer mate because the king can go here. I spent a lot of time on this one now. Spent a lot of time on this one. I think everyone has probably solved this besides me at this point. So I'm going to look at this one more time, and then I'm going to guess and check. I'm going to look just to keep us moving. I'm going to look at this one more time and then guess and check. All right. I'm gonna guess. Let's prove that that was wrong, and there it is. Let's prove that this was wrong, and there it is. Let's prove that this is wrong. There it is. Let's prove that this is wrong, and there it is. Prove that this is wrong, and there it is. Let's. Actually, let's look at this. Let's just look at the pawn push. So the pawn push is interesting. The king can't run because then this would be mate. No, it wouldn't be. No, it wouldn't be because... No, yeah, it would be. Yeah, it would be. Push if the king runs there. Silver would be mate. King can't run for the same old reasons. So push. Gold takes. Bishop drop? Wait, so gold takes. Bishop drop. No. Silver drop. Pawn. Gold. Silver. King can't take again because of this. Lance takes. It's just bishop drop. King runs. It's bishop drop. Because this gold would be gone, so the king can't run there. I think that's it. I think that's it. Yeah. Yeah, that's a cool one. I don't think I even looked at that until the end. I don't think I even considered the pawn push. I don't even think I drew that in my candidate list. It seemed so, like, it seemed so useless. Interesting. All right, let's go to the next. Problem 22. Okay. You calculated silver 3-2 first, but then the king can run. So you have to know that the pawn push gold takes isn't problematic. Yeah. Yeah, and the key there was that we had that bishop watching that diagonal. So that bishop that I thought was just there to reinforce the rook coming up, the dragon coming up, was actually also taking that diagonal. Okay, so we have a lot here. I think we have a lot of options here. We have 1, 2, 3. We have 4. We have 5. So maybe we don't have many options here, actually. We have 1, 2. I'll give this. I'll grant this extra 1. 3. I'll grant this as anything else. I'm staring at this thinking, how is this not just mate? Oh, because the rook takes. Ah. We also have these. Yeah, so we have these 4. 1, 2. Okay, so we've got a lot. We do have more. We have at least 4 moves. We have at least 4 from the. We have at least 4 from the bishop, or we have at least 8 from the bishop. Well, we have at least 6. We have at least 6, not including not promoting, which we've already seen. We've already seen that Joker. If the same person doing this problem set, if it's the same person doing this entire problem set, we don't know what to expect. But we don't have a pawn. There's no pawn, so it's not going to be a Joker problem. Okay, so I think my guess is it's going to be silver here, because we want, if the silver takes, that cuts off the escape route. That cuts off the escape route. So silver 8-3. If king takes, then bishop 7-3 promote is mate. So we know that. We know that. So silver takes. Oh, no, it would be rook. So silver. Just to be clear, the king can't go anywhere else. This king can't go anywhere. King cannot go anywhere. So the only options are king take and silver take. We know that king takes is mate. So silver takes. Now bishop, block the dragon. Bishop 6-8. Okay, I was going to say king has to go there, and then this would be mate. But that's not true, because now the king can come down here. Huh. All right, so let's ignore that for now. Let's look at this knight promote. Knight promote. If king takes... If king takes... If king takes, it's bishop. Oh no! Because this is not promoting. This is not promoting. Woo. Okay. Knight promotes. King takes. If we drop the silver, the knight can take. No, he can't. No, he can't. Because this would be a double check. Yes, he can. Because, yeah, no, that would be a double check. And the king can't go back here because the bishop is there. Or the rook is there. So, one, if the king takes... Wait, if the king takes silver, and then the king can just run back. Huh. All right. Maybe that's not it. I'm just one more time. Look, or king, knight promote, king takes. Yeah, I'm not seeing any way to do anything. The silver drop lets the king. The silver drop. Silver drop. Knight takes. Bishop takes. Wait, no, wait. Gosh, I'm losing my ability to see the board. Drop the silver. If the king comes forward, this is mate. So knight 9-3 promote, king takes, silver drop 8-4, horse takes, bishop takes, king 8-3, bishop 6-2 promote, king run this way. Okay, so that's I think that's not it. Woo! They definitely want me to think that this is coming. They definitely, this setup, they definitely want me to think that this is coming. How else can I check? How else can I... So I tried the knight. I couldn't make the knight work. I think this immediately lets the king run out here. So what if we allow ourselves to be taken? That would be mate. Right? So if we bring the bishop to 8-4 and rook, a dragon takes our rook. We promote the knight on 9-3. And that's just mate. Because the lance is protecting this file, including the bishop. So the king can't go here because the bishop takes. King can't take the knight because of the bishop. And king cannot go to 8-3 because the promoted knight. So that would be mate. So that would be a mate in 3. So let's see the other variation. What else can the king do? The only other approach, the only thing the king can do is go to 8-3. I think. And then the bishop promotes on 7-3, protected by the knight. Which is mate. Wait, what? Wait, so I'm missing something. I'm missing something critical here. Bishop 8-4. What other thing can they possibly do? Oh, they can block. They can block. No, they can't. No, wait. They block? If they... No. No. I bring the bishop to 8-4. If they block on 9-5, it's still knight takes. It's still knight knight promote on 9-3. I feel like I have no need for this silver. I feel so I'm definitely missing something here. Oh, I'm just missing the king takes. I'm just missing the king takes. King takes. I am missing king takes. Okay. But I still like this. I still like this idea. I still like this pattern here. I'm not going to give in. I'm not going to give in to this, to these lines. I'm not going to give in. Silver 8-3. King has to take. Or king can take or bishop can take. If king takes, it's mate. So silver has to take. Ah! Okay, so here we go. Silver 8-3. Silver has to take. No. Okay, shoot. Hold on. Oh, yes. Yes. Silver ate 3. Silver takes. Bishop 7-3 promote. Dragon has to take rook. Knight promote. 9-3. Oh, no, because this horse is still guarding. Okay. Woo. Hey, I forgot. Nice to see you. Struggling with this problem. Struggling with a lot of these. This entire set is... I've been very slow. Very slow. How about we first... Wait, did I already try this? I think I've already tried the immediate knight promote. Yeah, the king takes. I think the king takes is the answer to that. No. Knight takes. Or, I mean, knight 9-3 promote. If king takes. Silver 9-4. King has to take. No, he doesn't. Knight can take. Knight can take. Knight can take. And that would end that. Oh. Wow, is this tricky. Very tricky. Alright, I'm going to start guessing. So the moves that I tried. And the moves that I believed in. These are the two that I believed in. Okay, alright. Alright, so maybe I just miscalculated. And then... I promote. Oh, I promote. He takes. I mean, now we're at mate and 7. Now we're past mate and 5. Take. If he takes, then I do this. But horse takes. That wouldn't do it. So I don't have many ways to check here. All right. Well, I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna keep going. I'm keeping going. I'm keeping going with my. I'm keeping going. And now we get our. I was gonna say, and now we get our mate, but no. Now it's this. Now we do this. Okay. All right. I think I've cracked. I think I've overall cracked. But I saw all the pieces. I just couldn't put them together. You know, I saw that the knight exposes the lance. I saw that the bishop, you know, immediately I saw that the bishop blocks the rook. But I couldn't put them together. But it was good. It was good. All right. So I think that is going to be it. That's going to have to be it because I'm taking way too long on these past couple. Bishop blocks dragon if horse takes. Yeah, and double checks. Yeah, if king takes, it's the double check. Yeah. You know, just coming out here. You're now guarded by the lance. All right. Yeah. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. I'll switch to problem 23 for the next time. And just take a look to see what's going on 81 Dojo before. Oh, I don't have an 81 Dojo theme in this scene collection. So I'll just go back to play Shogi for now. And I will say thank you, everybody. And hope you have a good day of Shogi. Actually, I am going to do some. I'm going to try to get in the position. We don't have many people viewing now, but I'm going to try to get more into the habit of doing a raid. So I'm going to raid, see if anyone is on, and I will raid the sumo wrestling replay. So if any of you like sumo or midnight sumo, I'm going to do this. I will see you all later. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye.